Welcome back, Legion. Today I want to talk to you guys about nutrition for injured athletes and how nutrition can help you during your rehabilitation program. Now, nutrition is generally underutilized as a whole for most athletes, but definitely when we're injured, it's not necessarily one of those things that we consider, although it can actually have a massive impact on your recovery from injury. So injuries usually go through three phases. The inflammation phase, which is that kind of initial trauma. So your body sends a lot of inflammation to the traumatized area, and this is to help kind of clean up the area, start to protect and repair. Then you get proliferation. So the inflammation kind of brings in these different signals to the area. So proliferation is the kind of rebuilding phase. We're starting to get the building blocks into the spots. And then our last phase is remodeling. So getting that tissue structure kind of back to what it was prior. Generally, once we've had an injury though, there is definitely going to be a difference in the tissue structure. We're going to see a change. And this is sometimes what we can refer to as scar tissue as well. So it's important that we get our rehabilitation process down well. The next thing we need to consider throughout this whole process is our energy needs, okay? So with our energy needs, our basal metabolic rate will actually increase. So this is our kind of like energy expenditure, just doing day-to-day stuff. This actually goes up because we are injured. So the body needs a little bit more energy to supply the injured area. What happens to our energy expenditure as a whole though, it usually comes down a little bit. You might not be exercising as much due to the injury. So we need to consider that our calories probably need to change. So our energy intake likely needs to change. We've got to be careful that we avoid under eating. Okay, so you don't want to stop eating because you need those nutrients to help the healing process. But at the same time, you might not be eating as much because you might not be doing as much exercise. You don't really need to gain that much body fat, if any body fat, during this phase. If you're watching your eating habits, and you should be still doing some kind of exercise during this rehabilitation period, well then your energy needs are going to be enough to get you through. Like really you just want to kind of maintain your weight. You want to retain as much muscle mass as possible and limit the amount of body fat that you gain, if any at all. Potentially, if you're already in a bit of an excess in body fat, then you could utilize this time to actually clean up your eating habits a little bit, because this might help from an injury prevention perspective in the future. Next thing we want to consider from this energy intake is our macronutrients. So these are our big boys. These are your protein, your fats, and your carbohydrates. So protein is going to be really important during this time because it's going to help the healing process. Protein is essentially your building blocks of life. So it's important to have enough of these building blocks when you're going through this rebuilding, proliferation, remodeling phase. Fats, so fats such as omega-3s are actually anti-inflammatories. So we need a little bit of inflammation early on to create this proliferation phase, but too much inflammation can actually hinder and slow down the healing process. So it's important to have a little bit of inflammation, but it is also important to have it under control. So using your fats and your omega-3s in particular as anti-inflammatories can control that inflammation. Carbohydrates, so we want to think fruits and vegetables with this one. So they're going to provide a lot of micronutrients, which leads me to my next point, micronutrients. So micronutrients are things like vitamins A, B, C, and D, calcium, iron, zinc, and magnesium. And again, all of these micronutrients are going to contribute to this healing process, this proliferation and remodeling process. So they're going to be super important. They also give you a fair bit of energy and vitality. Now, this is going to be a challenging time for you being injured, but you still need to get your rehabilitation work done. So having that energy to get it done is going to be really important. The last thing we can consider, which is not as critical but can definitely help in this circumstance, is actually herbs. So we're thinking like turmeric, garlic, all these types of different herbs. They're all anti-inflammatories, so they can all help this reduction in inflammation. This reduction in inflammation usually reduces pain sensitivity as well during this time, which means we might actually be able to get a little bit more work done on the injured area with our rehab process. Okay guys, I think it's important to know that we get some help during this period, but I think the good thing about this is we should also realize that nutrition doesn't have to be just about weight loss. Nutrition can actually help us with so many different things, including our ability to recover from an injury. All right, hopefully that helped, guys. Thanks.